Hey, Dr. Garber here. Today we're going to go over the general features, functions, and components of the Cox 8 Flexion distraction table. Beautiful, brand new table here for the use of Life University. Let's start from the rear and then take it forward. We've got the ankle restraints, which is done through Velcro closures. Whenever you put them on, get them as tight as you possibly can. You've got one on either side. We've got the tiller bar. The tiller bar is adjustable depending on how far the span is of your arms. You would put it either in a down position or an up position, but you've got multiple positions to choose from. Power on and power off right there. Most of the features that we'll be using can be accessed through the tiller bar, starting with elevation of the table. Bottom two buttons are for the column up or column down. We'll raise it up a little bit. Next two buttons are for the spring tension control of the pelvic or caudal section. You can either make the spring tighter or looser. And then the button way on top is to turn the control panel either into manual or automatic mode. This lever here is the release for the caudal section or the brake, depending on which one you're doing. We're going to release it right now, and if you just pull slightly up on the handle, the caudal section will release. And as you can see, because there's nobody on the table, there's a little too much spring tension in there, but we can lower that tension right there and make it real easy to use, and that's the goal there. We want it to go down easy, come up without pulling it up, and then rest in a neutral position. To lock the caudal section, we just push down on the brake, just like that. Now it's locked nice and firm. This would be the thoracolumbar section. It does actually have a drop associated with it, and the drop can be cocked right there, and the tension in the drop is controlled through that knob. We've also got a release here for the lateral flexion component of the caudal section. So if you push up, it locks it. If you push down, it releases it, and then we get lateral excursion of the table. So we'll just lock it back in place. All right, the cervical section does everything that the lumbar section does. Starting with the cushions, we can adjust the width of the cushions there. The tiller bar, we can adjust it up or down depending on the need of the doctor. This first dial here, if you turn it clockwise, it releases the Y-axis component of the cervical headpiece, and it can be locked in about 5 different positions. The next one, again, if we turn it clockwise, we can release the flexion component of the cervical headpiece. It can also be locked in different positions. And then we've got the lateral flexion component. Again, clockwise releases it, and that locks it. And one more component, we have rotation of the cervical headpiece. If you pull this little lever out and turn it, then we can actually rotate the cervical headpiece. Beautiful, multifunctional, multidimensional cervical headpiece. One more function, and that's Y-axis distraction, or straight Y-axis lengthening of the table. Right under the posterior and inferior aspect of this stick shift knob, there's a little button. If you push it, the table will go out, and as soon as you release it, it will go right back. That function can also be controlled by this little black cocking strip. So if you wanted to do it with your foot, you hold it, it'll go out, you release, and it will go back. One other interesting function, if you move the switch from manual to automatic, when you hit the Y-axis distraction button, it will actually now stay there. So if you needed it out there and didn't want it to retract, you can do that. To get it to retract, you just put it back to the manual mode. And then one more function is we've got an elevation switch here, which can be controlled through the foot. And that's an overview of the Cox 8 Flexion distraction table.